You're currently losing a fortune to a system we were taught to trust. If you don't redirect that flow in the next 24 months, the rising cost of money is effectively going to price you out of the middle class forever. If you're not part of the middle class, this is still for you. You see, there's a specific financial leak in the way we buy things, the way we buy cars, the way we buy houses, and even the way we pay off debts. And that effectively cuts your lifetime wealth in half. I'm gonna show you how the wealthiest families in America, how they actually double dip on the money that they spend. You see, Robert Kiyosaki, you probably heard of him, right? The author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said the bank is never your friend. They're your partner. And they are partners that take their cut first. He proved that most people don't have an income problem, they have a banking problem. While you're chasing a 7% return in the stock market, the average person is losing out on 30% of their income because 30% of their income is leaving their financial life to interest. Oh, you don't think that's the case? That's exactly what's happening. We've done the math. The interest you're paying on the debts that you have, the fees, the taxes you're paying to others, it's over 30%. The average American is gonna pay over $600,000 in interest over their lifetime. Think about that, 600 grand. That isn't just money gone. That's the growth of your money gone as well, because your money is working for the bank's compound interest instead of working for your compound interest. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to uncover the exact amount of interest that is being stripped away from your family's net worth every single month. You're gonna rethink your savings. You're gonna rethink it so that you can stop asking lenders for permission. That's not gonna happen anymore. You're gonna use your own money. And I wanna reveal to you how the wealthy use the same dollar to buy an asset, but yet keep that same dollar growing for them, all at the same time. This is how the big banks buy their skyscrapers, while you're stuck paying for your life with money that never grows back. But to understand how to fix that problem, we first have to look at where your money's actually going the moment it leaves your hands. Now let's break this down into 3 specific ways the banking system is draining your wealth behind your back. And it's all by design. Most people focus on interest rate, but the banks focus on the volume of interest. You might have a 6% mortgage. Heck, you might even have a 3% mortgage. But the first 5 years, 80% of your mortgage check is going to interest. You are 100% efficient at making the bank rich and 0% efficient at building equity for yourself. So let's keep going with this. When you store your money, the money you worked hard for, in a traditional savings account, you're effectively a creditor of the bank. You're lending them your money. When you want it back for a business deal or when you have an emergency, you need to ask for permission. You lent them your money, and then they lend it back to you at a higher rate. The third way the system drains you is what I call the growth gap. Most of us are taught that when you buy something big, like a car, business equipment, even your house, you have 2 choices. You can take a loan and pay the bank interest, or you can pay cash, and save the interest. Both of these options are a trap, because if you take a loan, the bank wins, you already know that. But if you pay cash, you take your $50,000 out of your account, and then your balance hits 0. That money stops growing for you forever. You didn't just pay 50 grand for that car, you paid 500,000 because that money would have earned that much for you over your lifetime. You killed your compounding. You lost the opportunity for that 50,000 to earn for you again. This is exactly what Albert Einstein talked about a lot. He famously called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. I'm like, wait a second, wasn't Niagara Falls the 8th wonder? But here's what he said. He said, he who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. Think about that. By following the standard advice of paying cash to save interest, you are volunteering to pay the 8th wonder of the world in the form of lost opportunity. You're not earning compounding interest, you're paying it. Now, hang on a second. You're probably thinking, I have to buy a car somehow. If I don't use a loan, if I don't use cash, what's left besides stealing the car? Don't do that. Well, the wealthy use a third option. A way to deploy that 50 grand so that you buy the car, but the original $50,000 never leaves your account. It continues to grow as if it's still there. If you don't understand this part, you're always gonna be a tenant in someone else's bank. So let me show you how to play offense. Let me show you how to finally close that growth gap. It's actually very simple. The first principles of liquidity, you need to fire your banker. You gotta fire your banker before they devalue your savings to zero. The wealthy don't save money. As a matter of fact, you'll never get wealthy saving money. They get wealthy by positioning money, by making money work for them. They ask their dollar, how many jobs can you do, dollar? How many jobs can you do? You see, if your dollar only has one job, it's just sitting in a checking account, it's sitting in a savings account. It is a failing employee. Fire that employee, or get them in a place that they can do what they're best at. I know you're probably thinking, why am I looking at my dollar as my employee? Because your dollars are your employees. They can work 24/7. And I want you to perform a banker's audit. So step one, list out every monthly payment that goes to a third-party lender. That's the first thing. Step two, I want you to calculate the volume of interest, not just the rate, the actual dollar amount you give away. Step number three, identify the spread. If the bank gives you 1% and the bank charges you 18% on that credit card, you are losing a 17% spread on your own labor. So how is it that the wealthy families keep their money moving and keep their money growing at the same time? So they're spending money and using it to invest while the original dollars continue to earn uninterrupted compounding interest. You see, they use a specific financial structure, one that most people completely misunderstand. So let me just unravel this for you. It's simple. It's a specially designed and engineered high cash value policy from a mutually owned life insurance company, specifically whole life insurance. But as soon as I say that, I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's the worst place you can put your money. But hold on a second. I said specially designed and engineered. See, the way these are designed, the way these whole life policies are designed are not the way your grandfather's policy was designed. Because the way your grandfather's policy was designed, or any other whole life insurance policy that is normally sold, they are designed to lock your money away for a long period of time. You have no early cash value access, which means you don't have liquidity, which means it's not a good place to put your money. And that's correct in what you've heard about it. But when you design and engineer these policies, it reduces the commission that the agent or the commission we get to a tune of 60 to 90%. Therefore, that 60 to 90%, just think of it this way, it moves from my pocket back to you, the policyholder's pocket. That's it. There is no magic. It's all in the way that it is designed. And you know what? I didn't invent this. I didn't create this. This has been being done for a long time. The wealthiest families have known this, have done this. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Morgan Stanleys, you know, all of them. But you know who else does this? Banks. Look it up. BOLI, BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. As of 2025, the banks own over $200 billion of life insurance. Why would the banks have that much money in it if it's so bad? What do the banks know that I don't know? That's the question. When you start to rethink your savings and you start moving them into this structure, that is just one change. You're changing where your money goes first. You gain four things that the banking system will never, ever give you. You gain liquidity. You have a contractual right to your capital. You don't need to ask for a loan. You request your own funds. And they arrive in days, 36 hours. No credit check, no invasive questions, just where do you want your money to go and how much do you want? And another thing you're gonna get is guaranteed growth, meaning that your money will be worth more next year than it is this year, no matter what. Unlike the stock market, okay, where your money goes up and down, you have a guaranteed interest rate that never changes, regardless of what the Fed says or does with interest rates and regardless of what's happening in Wall Street. Your money is guaranteed to grow. The next thing that you'll do is you're gonna recapture your money. This is the game-changing part. This has nothing to do with the product. Let me give you an example. When you buy a car, you borrow against your policy. Then you pay your loan back with interest. You're not giving up profits to Ford or Visa or some finance company. You're paying them back to your own policy. The profit stays with your family and becomes your legacy, because the next thing you got is tax-free growth. Yes, this is right in the tax code. When you take loans from the insurance company, they are loans. You are not taking withdrawals. Therefore, in the tax code, if Now let me be clear, if the policy is designed properly, and that's what we know how to do very well. If your policy is designed properly, your cash value, your internal buildup of the cash value grows tax-free. So think about that. Imagine if you had a place where you could put your money, it would be guaranteed. You had liquidity of that money immediately in the first 30 days, and that money grew tax-free. Those are just some of the things that these policies will offer you and your money. So let's take a step back. History rhymes. You see, in the 1920s, the families who survived the Great Depression, they weren't the ones with money in local banks. They weren't ones with money in the stock market, because when the banks closed their doors and Wall Street crashed, their money vanished. Who were they then? They were the people who had money in their private banking systems. That's right, their insurance policies. While the world was locked out of their own savings, these private bankers had liquid cash. And they were able to buy real estate, businesses, and everything at huge discounts because they controlled the source of capital. They didn't have more money, they had better access because a better system was in place. Today, the threat isn't just a bank run, it's the efficiency of your money. This is the moment where you stop talking about what they did and you start talking about what you're going to do. Because once you establish this wealth hub, your entire strategy for building your financial life changes. You're gonna move from playing defense. You're gonna move to an offensive position. You're gonna start using your capital to capture outcomes. Outcomes that are mathematically impossible for everybody else. But before you go out there and try to set this up, you have to understand the sequencing, because this is a process, not a product. The product just makes it more efficient. Because in a world where you are the banker, the most important skill isn't knowing how to save, it's knowing what problem to solve. So let's look at point number 3, financing the impossible. This is where real money is made. So please pay attention. Most people that I come across, and most people you come across, are asset rich, but cash poor. They have houses that have equity in them. They probably have 401ks and retirement accounts, but they cannot take advantage of a once-in-a-decade investment, an opportunity, because their money's trapped. It's locked up. You see, we work with real estate investors all the time, and they use the infinite banking concepts for their earnest money deposits. They're not liquidating stocks. They're not paying capital gains on that money just to make a down payment on this house. They take a policy loan. They buy the property. The rental income pays back the policy. The original capital never stopped growing. It stayed in their account, earning uninterrupted compounding interest. Most people have been conditioned to just park their money, put it somewhere and just leave it sit, because they think that's how they earn compounding interest. But in the banking world, a dollar that isn't moving is a dollar that's dying. To understand how to actually bridge this between where you are and where you want to be, you have to understand point number 4. And that point is the velocity of money. This is a behavioral shift. This is not an easy one, but it's just a behavioral shift. It's the secret that moves you from being a victim of the system to one that is owning the system. I started this video by telling you the middle class is being priced out. That is true. Now you see why. The system that we're all plugged into, the system we're all taught from a young age, is to have your money parked with somebody that makes your money work for them. And I get it. You've been told and you've been taught, set it and forget it. Like, think about it, your 401k. That's a place where you put your money and you can't touch it without penalties or fees or something. And your savings account, inflation eats it alive. While your money sits still, the banks are moving your money at a high velocity, there's that word again, and they're making a fortune on this. They're making a fortune because they've got your money working for them. Your money that you worked for, working for them. The glitch is that you were taught to park while the elites were taught to move. So let's go back to that machine, that specially designed and engineered whole life insurance policy. You are effectively opting out of the middle class squeeze. While everybody else is being crushed by rates going up, inflation, and all those things that destroy your wealth, you are the one collecting the interest because you became your own bank. You aren't just surviving the shift, you are using the very mechanism that is pricing everybody else out. You're using that to propel your family into the next tier of wealth. You see, movement is wealth. Parking is poverty. As the cost of capital stays higher for longer, the divide only gets bigger. The wealth divide? Oh, it's very real, but it is very much in your control. But you got to decide, are you going to be the one paying for the bank's skyscrapers, or are you going to be the one building your own legacy, the one building your own banking system? Being early to this shift is how you win. So now, we went over the 3 categories of theft. Theft of your money, the spread, the permission gap, and the growth gap. And now you have the blueprint to bridge that gap. The only question left is, are you going to rent your financial life, or are you going to own your own private banking system? Leave a comment. What's the first leak you're gonna plug? Is it that car note? Is that business equipment lending? Or maybe it's those credit cards. I love those. Those are the best way. So if you wanna see how this new banking system can change your life, check out the Vault software, okay? Go to BYOBvault.com. Try it for free. 7 days. Simulate infinite banking in your life. See what it takes to get started. It's very simple. And one last thing. Stick around and check out this video right here. BYO Bank. It's probably one of my favorite videos we've done because it breaks all of this down. I'll see you there.